Gone with the Wind, an epic American historical romance film, made a remarkable mark by securing 10 Oscar awards in the 1930s. Adapted from Margaret Mitchell's 1936 novel, the movie resembles a tempest, swirling with numerous triumphs. However, its tumultuous production has become a fascinating subject for viewers. From the persistent search for the perfect Scarlett to constant shifts in management and discontent among actors, the narrative surrounding its creation seems almost devoid of miracles. Dive into this video to uncover the concealed intricacies behind the curtains of Gone with the Wind. A decade of devotion. Margaret Mitchell's magnum opus, Gone with the Wind, embarked on a remarkable journey from conception to cultural sensation. Published in 1936, the novel swiftly enraptured readers with its sweeping narrative against the backdrop of the American Civil War and Reconstruction era. Mitchell, a Georgia native born in 1900, poured her passion into the epic saga, initiating the writing process at a mere 25 years old. What adds an extra layer of intrigue to Mitchell's achievement is the clandestine nature of her endeavor. Despite investing over a decade in crafting the novel, she managed to conceal her literary aspirations from everyone in her life. The revelation only came when, much to the surprise of her friends and family, she announced her decision to send the manuscript for publication. One close friend reportedly reacted with disbelief, catching Mitchell off guard and momentarily causing her to question her own resolve. Fueled by uncertainty, she sent a telegram to the publishing company, expressing her desire to retract the manuscript. Fortunately, fate intervened, as one editor had already glimpsed at the masterpiece and recognized its undeniable brilliance, ensuring that Gone with the Wind would not be cast aside. The novel swiftly became a literary sensation, selling millions of copies and earning the prestigious Pulitzer Prize in 1937. However, the true zenith of its cultural impact was yet to come with the cinematic adaptation. Remarkably, just 3 years after its publication, Gone with the Wind was transformed into a cinematic masterpiece, winning an impressive 10 Academy Awards out of 13 nominations. The film, released in 1939, remains a testament to the cinematic prowess of its time. Despite the technological constraints of the era, the movie showcased unparalleled acting performances, breathtaking sets, and exquisite costumes. The adaptation seamlessly brought Mitchell's vivid characters and southern landscapes to life, solidifying its place in cinematic history. However, behind the glamorous facade of this cinematic triumph lay a tapestry of dark secrets. The production process was fraught with challenges, from the casting decisions to the behind-the-scenes conflicts. Despite the success and acclaim, the legacy of Gone with the Wind is complex, with contemporary perspectives casting a critical eye on its portrayal of race and historical events. The writer desired Groucho Marx to portray the tragic role of Rhett Butler, but the iconic character of Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind is a central figure in the narrative, described as tall, dark, and handsome, with an unparalleled charm and wit that captivated readers and would later captivate audiences on the silver screen. Margaret Mitchell, the author of the novel, initially distanced herself from the production process, but couldn't help expressing her preference for comedian Groucho Marx to take on the coveted role of Rhett Butler, a departure from the conventional casting expectations. However, David O. Selznick, the producer behind the ambitious adaptation, had a different vision. Selznick envisioned the role being embodied by actor Clark Gable, a Hollywood star with a charismatic presence and a rugged charm. Gable at the time was navigating the challenges of a divorce that left him financially strained. Despite his initial reluctance, driven by personal circumstances and financial necessity, Gable ultimately accepted the role of Rhett Butler. Gable's journey into the character was not without its complexities. In one notable scene, he caused a stir among the crew by adamantly refusing to shed tears, deeming it unmanly. This stance created some tension on set, but also added a layer of authenticity to Gable's portrayal of the strong-willed and independent Rhett. Despite Gable's initial reservations, his performance as Rhett Butler has since become legendary and is widely celebrated by fans of the film. His on-screen charisma and portrayal of the complex character added depth and nuance to the narrative, earning him acclaim and solidifying his place in cinematic history. The inaugural director faced dismissal by David O. Selznick. The tumultuous production of Gone with the Wind extended beyond casting challenges and substance abuse, reaching into the realm of behind-the-scenes conflicts that would shape the course of the film's development. George Cukor, a highly regarded director, initially took on the role of guiding the cinematic adaptation. However, his collaboration with producer David O. Selznick was marred by intense clashes and creative differences. But Selznick's tendency to micromanage every aspect of the film created a strained working relationship with Cukor. The director found himself at odds with Selznick's interference in the creative process, leading to heated arguments and a palpable tension on set. Ultimately, the discord reached a breaking point, and Selznick made the controversial decision to fire Cukor, citing the director's purported slow pace as the official reason. However, a more disquieting theory emerged, suggesting that Cukor's dismissal may have been rooted in the director's open homosexuality. At the time, being openly gay was stigmatized in Hollywood, and it's alleged that actor Clark Gable, one of the key figures in the film, held bigoted views against Cukor's sexual orientation. This darker speculation implies that Cukor's firing may have been influenced by discriminatory attitudes prevalent in the industry during that era. The true reason behind Cukor's termination from Gone with the Wind remains elusive, shrouded in a cloud of uncertainty and speculation. Selznick's official explanation of Cukor's work pace may have been a convenient cover for the more controversial issues underlying the decision. Whether it was a clash of artistic visions, professional friction, or prejudice, the circumstances surrounding Cukor's departure continue to fuel debates and contribute to the enigmatic nature of the film's production history. A worthwhile investment. David O. Selznick, a prominent movie producer, was at a crossroads in his career, eager to find his next major project after a less than successful foray into a Civil War-themed film. His previous attempt in this genre had fallen short of expectations, leaving Selznick hesitant to delve into another project with a similar historical backdrop. However, fate had other plans for him, and an unexpected opportunity arose. In 1936, the same year Margaret Mitchell's magnum opus, Gone with the Wind, was published, Selznick found himself confronted with a compelling proposition. Although he had not read the novel himself, the chairman of his production company exerted pressure on him to consider adapting the book into a film. Despite his reservations and lack of personal familiarity with the source material, Selznick found himself in a challenging position. Caught between a desire for a fresh cinematic direction and the persuasive influence of his company's chairman, Selznick eventually yielded. In a pivotal moment, he decided to acquire the film rights to Gone with the Wind. This momentous decision came at a considerable cost. Selznick purchased the rights for an astounding sum of $50,000. This hefty investment underscored the perceived potential of the novel, and Selznick embarked on a cinematic journey that would ultimately redefine the landscape of Hollywood. The decision to adapt Gone with the Wind into a film proved to be a pivotal, and in hindsight, an astute move for Selznick. Little did he know that this acquisition would lead to one of the most iconic films in cinematic history. The investment, both financial and creative, laid the foundation for a cinematic masterpiece that would go on to win numerous accolades and become an indelible part of American cultural history. At the time, this transaction represented the highest amount ever paid for the rights to a literary work. Selznick, cognizant of the staggering financial investment, likely grappled with the weight of what was then considered a high-risk venture. However, this ambitious move would ultimately prove to be a stroke of cinematic genius. The decision to acquire the rights at such a substantial cost reflected Selznick's belief in the potential of Mitchell's epic novel. The entertainment industry had yet to witness a transaction of this magnitude, and Selznick's audacious move set the stage for a production that would push the boundaries of filmmaking and storytelling. Margaret Mitchell, the creative force behind Gone with the Wind, initially harbored reservations about actively participating in the production process. However, despite her desire for a hands-off approach, Mitchell couldn't help but be flattered by the meticulous work and dedication that Selznick and his team poured into bringing her literary masterpiece to life on the silver screen. The sheer scale and ambition of the project left an indelible impression on Mitchell, and she reportedly found joy in witnessing her characters and narrative come to life in the cinematic realm. While Mitchell may not have actively engaged in the day-to-day intricacies of the filmmaking process, her appreciation for the endeavor was evident. The collaborative spirit between the author and filmmaker manifested in a production that seamlessly captured the essence of the novel. Mitchell's willingness to entrust her work to the capable hands of Selznick and his team allowed for a creative synergy that transcended individual contributions. As production unfolded, the anxieties that may have accompanied Selznick's initial investment transformed into a resounding success. Gone with the Wind premiered in 1939 and became a cultural phenomenon, captivating audiences worldwide. The film's success not only justified Selznick's bold financial commitment, but also solidified its place in cinematic history. Tragic battle with substance abuse. During the production of Gone with the Wind, David O. Selznick emerged as a formidable figure, steering the cinematic ship through the tumultuous waters of one of the most ambitious film projects of its time. However, behind the scenes, Selznick's influence was accompanied by a complex and troubling aspect: his frequent use of drugs, a habit that cast a shadow over the production process. Stories from the set paint a vivid picture of Selznick's reliance on prescription drugs, with one actor, Evelyn Keyes, describing how he consumed pills like popcorn. The pressure surrounding the film was immense, given that Gone with the Wind boasted the highest budget of any movie at that time. The fear of financial ruin loomed large, and Selznick, desperate to ensure the film's success, turned to prescription drugs to cope with the mounting stress. The drugs seemed to have a dual effect on Selznick. On one hand, they instilled in him a sense of confidence in his abilities as a producer. However, this newfound assurance came at a price. Selznick's substance abuse fueled a compulsion to micromanage every facet of the film, from the script to the set design, and even the performances of the actors. The consequences of this were acutely felt by the cast and crew, who found themselves subjected to irregular shooting schedules and enduring hours of Selznick's meticulous scrutiny. The toll of Selznick's drug use on the production process cannot be overstated. While his vision and dedication were undeniably instrumental in bringing Gone with the Wind to fruition, the price paid by those involved was significant. The erratic behavior stemming from his substance abuse added an extra layer of challenge to an already complex and demanding project. The pioneer black actor to receive an Oscar. Hattie McDaniel's groundbreaking performance as Mammy in Gone with the Wind not only left an indelible mark on cinematic history, but also shattered barriers, making her the first black person to win an Academy Award. However, the accolades she received were tempered by the harsh reality of racial segregation that persisted in the 1930s. The era was marked by the Jim Crow laws, a system of legalized racial segregation that permeated every aspect of life for African Americans. The Oscars ceremony itself was not immune to these discriminatory practices. Despite her historic win, McDaniel faced the painful irony of being buried from the Vinway Dway to racial segregation policies. The award ceremony was so segregated that McDaniel was not allowed to sit with her fellow nominees and guests. David O. Selznick, recognizing the significance of McDaniel's achievement and unwilling to let her be marginalized, took a stand. He lobbied tirelessly to ensure that McDaniel could attend the ceremony. Although she was ultimately allowed to enter the venue, the compromise was that she had to sit in the back of the room, a stark illustration of the racial inequality that persisted even in the face of professional recognition. To compound the injustice, other black actors who contributed to Gone with the Wind were denied entry to the Oscars altogether. McDaniel stood alone as the sole African-American presence at the ceremony that year. Her victory was both historic and bittersweet, as it underscored the stark contrast between the acknowledgement of her talent on screen and the systemic racism that persisted off-screen. The Jim Crow laws, a stain on American history, continued to enforce racial segregation until their abolition in 1964. The struggles faced by Hattie McDaniel and other black actors in the 1930s serve as a painful reminder of the deeply entrenched racial prejudices that marred the entertainment industry and society at large. While progress has been made since then, the legacy of individuals like McDaniel continues to inspire conversations about equality, representation, and the ongoing fight against systemic racism. The gender wage disparity. The gender wage disparity that persists today is not a new phenomenon, and the making of Gone with the Wind in the 1930s starkly highlights the egregious pay gaps that existed in the entertainment industry, even among top-billed actors. Clark Gable, who portrayed Rhett Butler, worked a total of 71 days on the film and received a substantial payment of $125,000 for his contribution. In contrast, Vivien Leigh, who played the lead role of Scarlett O'Hara and worked more than 50 additional days, clocking in at 125 days, was shockingly compensated with a mere $25,000 for her extensive efforts. This glaring pay disparity underscored the prevailing gender biases and economic inequalities that disproportionately affected women, even in high-profile film productions. Leigh's significantly lower compensation, despite her substantial screen time and pivotal role in the film, reflected the deeply entrenched gender norms of the time, where male actors routinely received higher pay than their female counterparts. This discrepancy was especially glaring given that Leigh's portrayal of Scarlett O'Hara was central to the success of Gone with the Wind, contributing significantly to the film's enduring legacy. The wage disparity extended beyond gender, affecting African American actors in the film as well. Notably, Hattie McDaniel, who delivered an Academy Award-winning performance as Mammy, faced substantial wage inequity. Despite her invaluable contribution to the success of the film, McDaniel and other black actors encountered systemic discrimination and received significantly lower compensation than their white counterparts. The brink of tragic alteration. The inclusion of a now infamous line in Gone with the Wind marked a pivotal moment in the history of cinema censorship and the defiance of moral guidelines set by the Hays Code during the 1930s. In Margaret Mitchell's epic novel, the character Rhett Butler utters the iconic line to Scarlett O'Hara, saying, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." This bold statement became a defining moment in the narrative, capturing the essence of Rhett's indifference and marking a crucial point in the character dynamics. However, during the 1930s, a stringent set of moral guidelines known as the Hays Code dictated what could and could not be shown or said in American films. Even the relatively mild swear word damn was deemed inappropriate under these regulations. The Hays Code, established in 1934, aimed to uphold moral standards in the film industry, imposing restrictions on content ranging from language to depictions of violence and sexuality. David O. Selznick, the producer of Gone with the Wind, recognized the significance of Rhett Butler's line to both the novel and the cinematic adaptation. He understood that the omission of this pivotal moment would diminish the impact of the story. Selznick's persistence and conviction. Knowing that he needed to overcome the Hays Code's restrictions, Selznick embarked on a determined and lengthy lobbying effort to secure permission to include the line in the film. Selznick's persistence and conviction eventually paid off after months of struggle. He successfully argued that the inclusion of the line was integral to the artistic integrity of the work and a faithful representation of Mitchell's novel. This victory against the Hays Code showcased the power and influence of filmmakers in negotiating artistic expression within the confines of the regulatory framework. The triumphant inclusion of, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," in Gone with the Wind became a watershed moment, challenging the censorship norms of its time and contributing to the gradual erosion of the Hays Code. While the Hays Code persisted until 1968, the defiance demonstrated by Selznick in securing this line marked a step toward a more permissive era in filmmaking, where artistic expression would have greater latitude in the years to come. Casting journey. The casting of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind marked a pivotal moment in the film's production, and the selection of Vivien Leigh for the iconic role was not without its share of challenges and controversy. Leigh was just one of the 1,400 women considered for the lead role, facing fierce competition in the audition process. The immediate hurdle she encountered was the stark contrast between her British background and Scarlett O'Hara's quintessentially Southern character. Scarlett, a proud Southern belle, spoke with a deep Southern accent, a dialect vastly different from Leigh's British origins. During her audition, Leigh grappled with finding the right tone and dialect, almost jeopardizing her chance when she unintentionally adopted a more Northern Yankee accent. Despite the initial struggle, Leigh persevered and eventually found her footing. Her determination and acting prowess ultimately secured her the coveted role of Scarlett O'Hara, a character deeply embedded in American literary and cinematic history. However, the announcement of a British actress playing such an iconic Southern character triggered a wave of backlash, with criticism and skepticism echoing through the industry and among the public. The Daughters of the Confederacy, a group with strong ties to Southern heritage and history, emerged as a vocal opponent of Leigh's casting. Outraged by what they perceived as a misrepresentation of their Southern culture, they actively campaigned for a recasting. However, despite their efforts, the decision to cast Leigh as Scarlett O'Hara remained unchanged. The journey of Vivien Leigh in portraying Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind was marked by both physical discomfort and personal struggles. Underscoring the challenges she faced to deliver an extraordinary performance. Leigh's on-screen elegance and poise as Scarlett O'Hara were achieved under less than ideal conditions. Throughout much of the film, she was compelled to endure the constraints of an exceptionally uncomfortable corset, a garment designed to shape and accentuate the silhouette of women in the fashion of the time. Adding to the discomfort, producer David O. Selznick insisted on her wearing additional tape to enhance the visibility of her cleavage, an uncomfortable and intrusive demand that added a layer of physical strain to her already challenging role. Beyond the physical discomfort, Leigh grappled with her own internal struggles. The actress, who would later be recognized as one of the most accomplished performers of her generation, faced the complexities of bipolar disorder. The intense stress of the production process exacerbated her condition, leading to notable mood swings. Balancing the demands of her personal life with the pressures of portraying an iconic character like Scarlett O'Hara required a resilience that went far beyond acting. Despite numerous challenges, Leigh's performance in Gone with the Wind is universally acclaimed as extraordinary. Her ability to overcome physical discomfort and personal struggles is a testament to her dedication and talent as an actress. One of the most memorable moments that cemented Leigh's place in cinematic history is the iconic monologue delivered halfway through the film. This scene continues to be quoted by fans, highlighting the lasting impact of her performance. What do you think about the behind-the-scenes secrets of Gone with the Wind? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.